Hi, everyone. This is Christine Beckwith reporting from Mortgage News Network, and I am so excited to bring you the 13th episode of this unbelievable program we've been running for the last 13 weeks. This program that has brought the industry giants, the women executives in banking, the most powerful women, as named for our show, Power Women with Class, sponsored by Class Valuation. And I could not be more happy today to have with me Patty Arvielo from New American Funding, the president of that company. Welcome, Patty. Thank you for having us.
Thank you so much, Christine. Awesome to be here.
Yay. So you are definitely going to close this show out in style. I'm a personal fan. I know that in speaking to so many other people in the industry, you are someone that we see out there doing an amazing job. Your branding's amazing. What you represent for all of us is amazing. So I want to get right to it. And I'm going to bring us back to the beginning of your career. And what we want to tell the viewers is, what was that year like when Patty started in the banking industry?
Well, luckily my memory's pretty good because it's when I was 16 years old. So I fell into this industry at an entry-level position, inputting derogatory credit trade lines on mortgage factual reports.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so, it was not too hard to start to talk to the people ordering the reports, which were usually other women. And I would start to, get relationships with them. I said, so what is it that you even need these reports for? And they're like, oh, we do mortgage loans. I'm like, what's that? I'm 16. So I quickly found out they made a lot more money than I did. So I went home, and back then we didn't have the internet. And so I pulled out the Sunday paper and found a job, an entry-level job as a loan opener at a mortgage company. So it was just kind of the beginning of nothing that was thought out, obviously, but I've always been very driven to be financially successful since I was very young. So I had to find the job that would pay me the most money.
Yeah, it sounds like you took an opportunity and you just ran with it. You were like, I'm going to get in there and this is how I'm going to do it, and searched and found that job. From there, take us from there forward.
Well, I think quickly I decided that operations was great. I've been in operations many, many years out of the 36 years career that I've had. But I knew that a lot of the money was made in sales. So I had a gentleman just kind of give me a box of cards, and he said, go out and ask realtors for loans. And so I did that. And I spent probably a year getting a lot more lunch dates than loans. But that's how it goes when you're 19 years old. And so I was a little discouraged, but then I did get a loan. And I remember it back then where it was a big, giant packet of paper. And I just ran back to corporate office and said, okay, now what do I do with this?
Yeah.
So the beginning of my sales career was when I was 19.
Yeah, and you think about those days, and that's how I started as well. As I had a mentor that told me to go out to real estate offices, and I always make the joke that I was 22. I had processed for a few years through college, and I always felt like, I was out there like Barbie Banker. I felt like I was being looked at that age that way.
Sure.
So it took a lot of, in your story, there's a lot of brave parts of that story that aren't accentuated. Just the going out and the taking of the cards, and those are big steps. Like, until you've gone and done door-to-door sales in the purchase world of real estate, you can't really appreciate how big that is. And now, fast forward, I can't believe, what all of us have shared in decades of time, and now you're at the helm of this amazing company. So that's amazing. And so much has happened in the mortgage industry during that time frame that you've had to weather through, no doubt, lead through. And so when you now look back at that, in reminiscing even, if you were to give advice to the viewers online watching, and you could give advice to that girl that was back there doing that, what would you tell her?
I think for me, if I made a lot of mistakes early on in my career, and probably the greatest lessons have been my mistakes. I mean, there's no school of mortgage banking. There are classes that you can take, but really the way that most of us have learned is by making the mistakes, quoting the wrong rate, how it goes, calling out a loan approval and you forgot to look at the 4th page of the credit report, you see a foreclosure. You know, we all learn by mistakes. I'm still learning by mistakes. But what I'm really good at is that I don't make them twice. So I really focus on when something does go wrong and I analyze, you know, what my part in that role was, because blame doesn't play any part of success. It just doesn't. It just diffuses and it pushes off the inevitable of you really learning about yourself. So I think I do a really good job of looking inward. And, you know, I think the advice that I have, I think a lot of people think that they have to try all different types of careers. If you find something young and you love it, stick with it. There's so much opportunity on every lane, on every highway of every career. I just so happen to stick with mortgage. And I'm a benefactor of that now. You know, I made it through the financial meltdown intact. And so when the competition's going out of business and you're the last woman standing, I mean, it was a good recipe for the beginning of what was really the major part of our growth.
I think I want to touch upon something that you just said that's so key. And that is the whole, you know, the sticking with it, the perseverance, the persistence. And that's true, you know, for people that keep their heads down. And I would say it's probably a commonality amongst all the interviews that I've done. You know, really, there is a recipe when you look at it. I now have 13 executive women that I just interviewed, and myself included, experience-wise, and we've taken different paths. We started in different ways. All of us got in sideways somehow. I think everybody in the mortgage industry got in sideways somehow. But somewhere down that road, we had the staying power. And, you know, that staying power has afforded us really well. And I think that's really, really good advice to the viewers, to stick it out, to persevere. And every market's different, right? There's ups, there's downs, and you learn to adapt and you ebb and flow, and you have to be very pliable. So really, really good advice right there. What is the most proud moment in your career? There's probably many, I'm sure, to get where you are. I know I've seen you in so many of the Womnn magazines, stages. I'm looking forward to seeing you in Agent 2021 in Miami. That you're speaking on, and I'm getting the pleasure to moderate one of the panels, which I'm super excited with Gary Vaynerchuk. And you are one of the keynotes, which is awesome. And so, you know, you're out there doing the work, you're spreading your voice, you're paying it back, as I call it. You know, we pay it forward, and it's just great. It's wonderful to see. So how do you isolate the paramount proud moment? But can you think of something that stands out?
I think it was when I realized that I was actually really good at what I do. And that wasn't really too long ago. I think Rick and I started to build distributed retail. We're in our 7th year. So it was about 7 or 8 years ago, I was sitting at my desk. And at that point, I just thought I was pretty lucky, like really lucky and super blessed. But there was a day when I realized I was really good as well. So it was a pivotal, you know, moment in my life. I didn't go to college. I didn't graduate college. I remember sitting in panels when I first started to get asked to speak, and I'd be so intimidated by other people's bios. And now I have this like enormous bio, and I'm actually proud of everything I've accomplished. So I think being proud of myself was a pivotal moment. It's not about money or anything. It's about how I feel about myself. Mm-hmm. So it was not too long ago.
You know what? There's something funny that happens as we grow, and, you know, we trade up, you know, the trophies and the money and the things that we think we're chasing for the legacy work. And you find that happiness and that gift and that stride. And I've had people talk, you know, again, about you to me that I've coached, and just people that know you, you know, as a person, that have worked for you. And, you know, I would have loved to have had people that worked for every person that I interviewed on this series, because what's happening when we're posting these episodes is, you know, the companies behind the women that we've been interviewing have been posting them, and the people are coming out of the woodworks to just, you know, wave their flags for these people that are getting interviewed. So I know that to be true about you, because people have said, you know, you're humble, and, you know, I'm experiencing that now just talking to you. It's lovely to hear you, share such vulnerable stories. And that's really what's going to teach the people behind us. It's, you know, and it's so refreshing because we didn't really have that. I didn't have that anyways. I really had to forge a lonely path, more or less. And now I'm happy to be pulling up, you know, the women behind me. So that's awesome. When you think of the word success, what comes to mind to you?
That I have the ability at any given moment to give.
That's big, right?
Yeah, it's pretty fun.
Yeah.
It really
Yeah.
is the fun part.
And it's big, you know, I mean, being in that position, you know, what's so funny? I think it's people that have in our lifetime been in a position where you've said, you know, you didn't have a college education. And so you forged your success path, right? I mean, that DNA is in you. And so you've reached this point now. And that's so funny because it really is what every one of us are connected by. And that is now the wanting to give that. That's great. I love that. And no one has said that yet. So that's a really original answer.
Best part of it. The best part to be able to do for others.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Without question. And I think that's your company mantra too.
Yeah, it is now 360. Yeah, is exactly. Yeah. We treat people with dignity and respect no matter who we interact with in business. And we're pretty true in our culture. I mean, I treat the people the same way I would expect to be treated, and down from the receptionist all the way through servicing. We all kind of bleed the same culture here. So yeah, pretty great.
Well, you're doing a good job of showing that through your branding because it's evident. I'm not a person familiar with your company specifically per se, but for the time, and there's a lot of, they say executives spend 2 to 4 hours reading content on LinkedIn, and that's a really interesting statistic. But I've learned about your company because of your posts and branding, and you have a voice. And it does shine through. What you stand for, that culture is very evident. So, you know, good job there. So let's talk about mentors. You know, we've had people that somehow that shot that we wanted, we certainly worked hard and showed up, but there was somebody that opened a door for us, maybe more than one in our career. Is there anyone that you want to mention?
I mean, it's, you know, everybody who opened a door for me was male. And so I really feel like I have this really at heart balanced feel about being an empowered woman that had men pretty much pull me up. I still have that going on in my life. So I'm pretty lucky that way. As far as mentors go, you know, it's really difficult in mortgage to have anything, you know, if you can see it, you can be it, right? I didn't see a lot of women, and I still don't see a lot of women, you know, owning larger mortgage companies. And that really, to me, is one thing I hope that I can do, is empower other women to say, I can do this, and not be afraid of having to deal with warehouse lenders and all male credit committees, and really putting yourself out there. So, you know, but I have phenomenal women in this industry that I respect truly. One of them is one of my best friends, Sean Krause at Quicken Home Loans. She opened up her heart to me. I can at any given second text her anything. And I think she's brilliant. And she's been with Dan Gilbert, I want to say 28 years. She started when she was a kid as a receptionist as well, like me. I really respect her. But not only that, she's a really good friend to me. So it's pretty awesome.
Yeah, having those key people that you can do that, I swear, to keep our sanity. We all have like those three.
What's happening to you? Have you heard of this? Yeah, you need that. Me too, you friend, you know. Yeah, I know, I got you. Yeah.
The sanity checker. That's great. And those are incredible people that you just named. So, you know, and again, I love what you just said about men, because the same is true for us on our side. Every single woman has named male mentors, by the way. So kudos to the guys that, you know, here we are giving them credit. We want them to know that obviously we appreciate the fact that they saw something in us worthy of putting their names behind. And I think that's great. So, well, that brings us to our charity work. We all, you know, are paying it forward in a way where we have some form of charity that really is important to us. What is it for you that you focus on in that area?
So pretty much all my focus is on children. And so I work on 2 organizations, and I'm actually sit on 3 boards, and one is kind of funny because you'll look at me and go, what? National Park Foundation. But I work on 3 boards full time. I mean, I put my heart into it. I don't not just have my name on a roster as a board member. I attend the board meetings. I work on committees. So outside of being still a mom and Rick's wife, I work on 3 different boards and run New American Funding. But I love Big Brothers Big Sisters because I do believe in mentorship, and it offers mentorship to underserved children that don't have a mentor in their life, meaning maybe their father's incarcerated or they don't have a, maybe their mother's gone or whatever. And we see high success rates. And I have data that suggests that it's really successful program. I also work with an organization called Me to We, and it's actually Oprah founded it. She found the guy who started it when he was 12. We currently Rick and I have adopted a village in Kenya where we're building all the infrastructure to bring in and build schools. And what I love about this organization, because I'm a working mom and really my main job is being a mom, but this organization really gaps the bridge of teaching children how to be philanthropic. So it makes doing doable. So I'm able to do this charity work with my kids. So it's really important. Sheryl Sandberg's very, very involved, Selena Gomez, and to say a few. So it's one of my fun, enlightening organizations. And I sit on the NPF, the National Park Foundation, and that is because I love this country, and we are the foundation that does all the park preservation and the national monument preservation. And everybody's like, what, park? You don't look like a park girl. No, but I'm an American. I'm a proud American, and I think preserving the parks is preserving our history.
Listen, that is a lot. Like, we have people, the whole series has been like, how are you doing all of these things? How are you wearing all of these hats? I always make a joke, and I say, people say, how are you doing today? And I say, great. If I could just find a wife, I'd be great, because I really need that person that's going to help me with so many of the things that we're doing. And wow, that's a lot, and such great causes, by the way. I love the cause, the Oprah cause. I love it all. That's just so, it's heartwarming. And, a lot of those are direct charitable events where you can see with your own eyes the impact, that you're having. And I love the fact that you said, and statistically, I see that this mentorship with the Brother Sister program is working, because that's how we're wired, right? To make sure we're measuring.
I need data that my hard work is paying off. I need to see that I'm being, I need to feel it and touch it and know that I'm making an impact. That's where the passion drives from. Yeah.
Wow. Well, this has certainly been an awesome addition, perfect for our ending of season 1. I can't thank you enough for coming on the show. I want to take a moment, if you'd let me, to thank the viewers, because they've been watching for 13 weeks. So to everybody in the mortgage industry, I want to thank you, because you've opened up your iPhones and your laptops and your computers, and you've allowed MNN Mortgage News Network, myself, Christine Beckwith, the world at large, class valuation, class appraisal with Jonathan Tallinger, Andrew Berman, Michael Brown, Richard Speck, and all of us here at Mortgage News Network, into your living rooms, your cars, your homes, and your offices, to share something really important here in 2018 as we get ready to enter the 2019 mortgage industry. And that is the voice of the rising women executives in our banking industry that are doing so much incredible work to change the face of a male-dominated field, to show how they persevered, to lift other women up, and to leave a legacy in our industry of positive voices that are making contributions across the nation. So with that, Patty, thank you so much for closing us out here. We couldn't be more happy to have you.
It was an honor. Thank you very, very much.
Thank you. All right, Christine Beckwith, out.
The American dream lives on for homeowners all across the country. At Class Valuation, we help lenders get more borrowers into the home of their dreams. Through innovation designed to reduce turn times and ensure accuracy, we help lenders exceed borrower expectations, so that American dream lives on.
This is Mortgage News Network.